So today being the day ending day or the ending session of the 10 days webinar, they bring out the best in you, the Sanatana Dharma way. So let me just kind of use this opportunity for two things. One, to complete what is set out for today, and also perhaps summarize these slides. Yeah, so that I can summarize as well the content of what we have covered all these 10 days. So let me put these questions across and choose the right answer. Sanatana Dharma evolves with changing time. Sanatana Dharma stays constant while our understanding of it evolves over a period of time. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with the noises and also a phone call. Just let me make sure. Okay, yeah, sorry. So Sanatana Dharma evolves with changing time. Sanatana Dharma stays constant while our understanding of it evolves with time. None of the above. Which one will you choose?
Second one, Sanatana Dharma stays constant while our understanding of it evolves.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And can you explain why?
Because it is ever existing, though we are present or not, Sanatana Dharma will always be like it because it is a universal law upon which the world is running.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
only our understanding keep on changing with time.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So which among the two do you prefer to stand by? I perceive something to be the truth and adhere to it only to discover later that it was wrong. I would rather follow someone else's truth as I am not experienced in perceiving my truth. Which of these two do you choose? Anyone? You can write in the chat box as well. I hope you understood the question. Anyone? Which among the two do you prefer to stand by? I perceive something to be the truth and adhere to it only to discover later that it was wrong. Or I would rather follow someone else's truth as I am not experienced in perceiving my truth. Well, if there are no answers, I'll go to the next one. Which among the two do you stand by? Be good to yourself, do good to others, be true to yourself, adhere to your truth.
No, I would go with the first one. Be good to yourself, do good to others.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, thanks for answering that.
Yes, the first one.
First one. What's the difference between these two?
Um, I mean, whenever you think it is good, I mean, we assume that it is a truth. Possibility that it is a truth, and and we better do that because that means we are following the right path there. In the sense, I would say other way around. Doing good for us ourselves and doing good to others to basically think that that is the right choice, because we are not harming anybody, or we are making sure that we are helping them out. So
Okay,
uh,
all right. So, what is good to you? Can it be good to others?
I was expecting that question.
May not be.
Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily.
Now, another thing is, there are sometimes compulsions for us to be good to the others, although we know for sure that it is not reflective of my true nature. I'm doing it because the an expectation that I have to be good to the others. So there, I'm actually not being true to myself. What does that lead to? Yes, you've been good. That's nice. That's nice that you've been good to somebody. But at the expense of being dishonest to yourself.
I think that is okay.
Mm.
I feel that is okay. And sometimes you need to bite the bullet to do good to others.
What if it happens often? So this is how it's going to be. So
It is like
choices
it is
are,
circular,
yeah. So
refreshing the gradient.
choices are going to be tough, and we need to learn to make choices. And I hope in these 10 days we've been focusing at least on the decision making ability, Nischay Buddhi, and all that as well. And I would personally go with be true to yourself and adhere to your truth, because I'm not fooling myself there. That is my choice. But you are also right that it's good to be good to others. And there, perhaps you also learn to sacrifice. But importantly, as long as I know that I have been dishonest to myself, at least that awareness makes me do something differently the next time around. Sometimes if we don't have the awareness at all is the problem. Okay. So let's go ahead with the final concluding part. Sanatana Dharma, self-society. I think we have already kind of looked at part of it through Grihastha Ashrama, particularly. Now I'm going to, as I would expect, these are interactive sessions, so I would hope you all to participate in communicating. So I'm going to show some pictures to you. Please have a good look at them. So this is picture 1. Okay, so there's a guy who is working on a concept, a business plan, a startup. He floated the idea. And there came some investors, put in some money to this idea and built a company. And then there were leaders brought in, like a chief executive officer, manager, chief operations officer, and all these kind of new titles, CEO, COO, CMO, whatever you may have, and managers and so on, right? And then you have employed a huge workforce as well. And so the company is now completely operational. It is working. What do these reflect? Is there something which they make you think about? There are four of these roles that I have shown. There was a guy who came up with the startup idea. He pitched the business plan. They were investors. Then the company was formed. They were leaders. And the workforce was recruited. And the work begins. What are these four? What do they remind you of? Start talking and then we can go some.
Karma Siddhanta.
How is it related?
I mean, it is the as they are born, it is the part of their part and parcel of their life is to work towards their goals and objectives.
Okay. So can you now name these four roles that you are saying? If you want to name them in English, what are
It
you?
reminds me of a Varna system.
Okay.
Wow, that's a good one.
And who
So
was
planning, I'm Vijay Kumar.
Vijay Kumar? Yes, go ahead.
Someone who is planning and bringing out a good business plan can be equated to a Brahmin.
Okay.
And the investors who are giving the raw materials for the business to start can be equated to Vaishyas. And the chief executive officers and the people who are very much involved in administration of the thing part can be equated to Kshatriyas. And the workforce can be equated to Shudras.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. That's exactly what I was looking at.
There you go. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yes. So now, interestingly enough, can we conclude that Varna system, Varna as such, that let's call it a system, Varna system exists everywhere, yeah? Does it? Or is there something which is devoid of it?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Okay. So if that's the case, why do we stigmatize it? Why do we have a problem with it? Why do we have
Unfortunately, we deciphered it differently basically in India. I would say, causing more grief for us, and it's continuing that grief. I would say so. We have put this right way long back, but somehow in between it was missed in translation maybe.
Okay.
And we started off with so many problems right now.
Right. Okay.
Continuing that.
So let's try and make sense of it and see whether, if we accept that it is inevitable, then that must be part of a design that we can't escape. That's the way I look at it. But then where did we go wrong, as you rightly said? So we'll try and make sense out of it. But sir, does Sanatana Dharma talk about Varna or caste system? No, you can't bring them together. Varna is Varna, caste is Jati. Why do we have to mix them together? Anyway, let's see a few slides and then we will make up our mind. In Purusha Sukta and Bhagavad Gita, Varnas are defined and classified as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And these are based on individual's swabhava and a natural inclination he or she develops towards a particular varna. So where is it mentioned? Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram avyayam. So according to Guna and karma, I have divided varnas into 4. Is what is said. What is guna and what is karma is the question then. Some would say guna is nothing but the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo gunaha, which is inevitably there in every and each and every aspect of creation. Karma similarly runs the whole show. The biggest contributor towards the running of the human cycle would be karma in itself. So if these two play a role, then it is but inevitable that a person ends up having a kind of birth, a kind of orientation towards a particular occupation or a kind of interest as per their innate nature. But what is that innate nature or the swabhava? Where is it coming from? Again, it's coming from karma. So if you look at it, I may be born into a family of warriors, but I am more interested in financial dealings, let us say. So it's going to be a natural inclination based on guna and karma siddhanta. It could also be said that such is the divine design that the varna I would enter in this lifetime is predetermined. Now, my question would be something similar to or an extension of Surendraji's question. But does Sanatana Dharma talk about varna or jati system? Sanatana Dharma doesn't necessarily have to talk about everything because they are all understood. Varna is understood. We have seen the evidence for it just now. I didn't say anything. I just showed these pictures. Those who responded were in complete agreement that it is going to be seen in every walk of life. There isn't anything that is devoid of varna. Now, those who did not respond, I don't know what you may be thinking in your minds, but I have enough evidence from doing a few sessions of these without giving any information earlier on. People do come up with their own answers, and this is inevitable. Sanatana Dharma doesn't declare that I am there, the Paramatma. It doesn't declare. It is for us to discover. Similarly, whether Varna system exists or not, Sanatana Dharma does not declare, does not have to declare. It is understood. It is there. The only thing one may want to not associate is the use of the stigmatized words because they've been nurtured in our minds. The very word Brahmana is distasteful nowadays because it is associated with the idea that they have been the ones to run the show. Change it if you wish to a word like a creator or a thinker, if you wish, because the cosmic rules are not going to change just by the change of name. It is for us to decide whether the concept is true or the application. There are two aspects always, concept and application. Where did things go wrong? Is it in the concept or is it in the application? Some don't like to be associated with the word Shudra because it's been again stigmatized. Now, do they understand what the word Shudra actually means? Unfortunately not. So if you don't like the word, change it into a word like worker or skilled workforce. Maybe worker is also a stigmatized word nowadays. So therefore, in the politically correct atmosphere, skilled workforce, because it's all about skills at the end of the day. Investor for Vaishya, leader for Kshatriya. Now you are comfortable with these 4 words: thinker, leader, investor, and skilled craftsman, skilled workforce. But the truth doesn't change. Varna has been the basis for jatis. This is my take, by the way. Where did we go wrong? Concept application. We didn't go wrong as well. There is an idea that from the Varnas, jatis have developed to make a functioning societal structure for occupation-based division of labor. Like any social structure, even this social structure has its own share of benefits and problems. Unlike a cosmic law, a human law is going to have its own limitations because we can't develop an ideal human law as such. We can only develop the best that we can given the circumstances. Thousands of years down the line, it looks outdated, particularly when it is not to be used anymore. So just like any social structure, even this social structure has its own share of benefits and problems. Being social in nature, it should either change with time or become obsolete if no longer relevant. If it is not relevant anymore, then it should stop. If it continues, then it is the society which is getting it wrong altogether. In current society, jatis have lost relevance as occupations are no longer confined within the family, or in other words, by birth. Most occupations nowadays, whether it is carpentry, whether it is plumbing, whether it is electric work, whether it is army, whether it is investments, it is not the case anymore that a particular person coming from a Vaishya community has to be the one to do business. No, that's not the case anymore. So if that's the case, occupations are interchangeable. What is the relevance of jatis? Obsolete. But they are continuing for various other reasons, retaining their superficial structure mostly from political patronage. I say that political patronage because if only the jati system collapses, a lot of vote bank politics also dries down. Vote bank politics will only last as long as one nurtures the jati differences, not the varna differences, by the way. So jati differences are further enhanced through various political schemes, which we are well aware of. And this is where the difference lies. Varnas are based on individual nature and hence do not undergo change with time. Varna that an individual chooses in this life is dependent on karma. Jati, on the other hand, is a social structure and is dependent on time, and hence changes and relevance are applicable. So Vamsi raised his hand, so I'm going to pause here just to see what he has to say, and then we will continue.
Hi, sir. So, one thing that I want to say is it's not just us, but even if you see in English and Italian and French also, they have their names as with names as Mason, Taylor, and some other things based on their occupation. Yeah. So it's not just us who has done that one. And they have there in their names because their whole families and generations of families practice that occupation. That's why they get their name. So if somebody is saying only our society has done that one, no, that's not correct. That's what I want to say.
So there are two questions which come to my mind. One is, let us say some of us are practitioners and teachers or propagators of Sanatana Dharma. Would you shy away from accepting Varna as part of Sanatana Dharma?
No.
Second question. Does the list of occupations, does it have sanction within Sanatana Dharma?
List of occupations sanctioned in Sanatana Dharma.
As in, Sanatana Dharma, or they are kind of aligned with the concept of Sanatana Dharma, or Sanatana Dharma declares that these are the varieties of occupations.
Yeah. You can always declare the occupations, but who must do it and they should stick to it, that is a debatable according to the times.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. So what do others have to say? As a practitioner of Sanatana Dharma, would you, when asked a question about Varna is bad, would you shy away from it and accept with them that yes, Varna is bad, it has to be abolished?
It can't be abolished as if it ever exists.
So, which aspect do we talk about abolishing? Because a lot of us actually talk about abolishing.
Discrimination part of it to be abolished.
Interesting, isn't it? So the discrimination is the human application, and we are doing it wrong. So that actually brings to the other question. Even if jatis exist superficially, what keeps them still relevant in the modern times, although occupations are not according to the jatis anymore? What are the, apart from the political patronage, what are the other reasons why kula, as in Telugu, the word is used as kula, or a caste, or a jati? What is the relevance, and why do they still exist, and why do people still marry within the same caste? Now we're not talking about varna anymore, are we? We're talking about caste. Why does it happen, or what keeps it still going?
Inertia, same old tradition.
There are traditions as well which go along with. Now there is an interesting socio-political problem or attached to it, and problem, not issue attached to it, in the sense, in this world where everyone is very keen on dismantling the caste units so that they can be converted to one of the religions. If you destabilize the caste equation within the caste by uprooting them from the cultures that they have inherited over a period of time, then once they are uprooted, particularly those from the tribal areas and so on, because they have always been worshipping their own ancestors and various things for a very long time. So the argument put forward would be caste should be abolished. The idea behind that is to make it easy for conversions. This is something from a socio-political point of view we have to keep in mind. The other thing is that one may ask, should caste therefore not come to a natural end point? Yes, it should, because the occupations are no more relevant. But I think we need to be careful and clever here as practitioners of Sanatana Dharma, which is that let there be a smooth transition so that we don't abruptly abolish or uproot those who are hanging on to it, because if we don't give them something to hold on to, they will be clueless. So this is a very interesting paradox and a dilemma that we are at. Not many would think about, which is that let people hold on to their caste units. It is okay for now, because that is one thing, that's something they are able to hold on to, this complex political sociological narrative that has been built against the existence of the oldest civilization. Not that we want to hold on to the discriminatory things. We have been very good since independence to let go of so many social evils. We have been good at doing that. We let go of so many things. We did it all by ourselves. So nobody needs to teach us a lesson as to how to do it. We can do it. But if we do it in a very rushed and illogical or irrational method, we are only allowing opponents to take advantage of the broken links with our own roots. I'm sure you're already witnessing that everywhere. So please keep this in mind. Think about it. It is an interesting, complex paradox. Yes, we want to hold on to Varna because Varna is inevitable. We need to let go of Jati because it is obsolete. But we shall give ourselves time. We shall decide how to do it. It is already work in progress. And we shall not allow opponents to take advantage of these situations. I'm quite keen to hear to people's views at this point of time, because this may sound contradictory, controversial too. Okay. If nobody has anything to add, then I will go ahead. Silence is golden. I'm going to show this particular small video clip where Adi Shankara actually talks to his students about, forgot the name now. Okay, anyway, let's
see. Lineage.
No, that is fine. What's his name? Jabala. So we're going to hear of Jabala's story, where he doesn't have a father because his mother doesn't know who the father is. So he doesn't even know what's his lineage, what his Gotra is. But he needs to go and declare it to the Guru in Gurukula. Only then they will be admitted. So see what happens.
Nayam mama pragyavada. Ved darshinam maharshinam darshanam.
Satyakamoha jabalo jabalam matarama mantrayam chakre brahmacharyam bhavati vivatsyami kim gotrodvagamasmi iti.
Amba! 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 Amba.
Vatsa, Satyakama,
Amba. Kim gotrohamasmi. Amba. Kim gotrohamasmi. Brahmacharyam bhavati vivatyami. Kim gotrohamasmi. Brahmacharyam bhavati vivatyami. Kim gotrohamasmi. Amba. Bhavaham charanti paricharini ye gotrastvamasi javanatu namahamasi satyakama nama svamasi. Nahametad veda voyat gotro hamasmi aprucham mataram samam pratyabravit. Nahametad veda tateti jabala namasa satyakamo namoham. Soham satyakamo jabalosmi bho.
नैतद ब्राह्मणो विवक्तुमर्हति सविदं सौम्याहर उपत्वादेश्ये नैतादृशं ब्राह्मणस्यास्ति वित्तं यदेकता समता सत्यता च
ईदृशी किला सत्यनिष्ठा.
Okay, so basically, Satyakama told the truth, saying that, look, I don't know who my dad is. My mother doesn't know who was my father. All I know is that I am Satyakama and my mother is Jabala. So the Guru was very pleased with the honesty, and he said that itself is the quality of a Brahmana. So therefore, I shall admit you into the Gurukula, he says. So that's the reason why this is important, is we were talking about Varna as per Guna. If that is a good example of Guna, I'm sure the ancient times had indeed the flexibility for that. Things got a lot more rigid, I guess, as time went by.
प्रार्थनानां जीवन.
So Adi Shankara, in the Chandogya Upanishad, it says, Jati Niti Kula Gotra Duragam Namaropa Guna Dosha Varjitam Desha Kala Vishayati Vartiyat Brahma Tattvam Asi Bhavayatmani. Establish it well in your Antakarana that you are the Brahman, the Atma, who is beyond Jati, moral measures, lineage, Kulagotra, and even a name or a form, or even the gunas, or even the place or the time and material. So if that is you, the Atman, which doesn't have any of these anyway, these are all later additions once you are born, and unless of course they are utilized, there is no way we can function in the society, one can say. But it is not going to be easy task, because they are either going to be misused or perhaps subjected to some sort of discrimination. So it is us again, we have to be very good in sincere and honest in applying these kind of labels and bring in sense of dharma into it. So that set aside, we're going to move on to the final stage of our session today. Well, maybe final two. Who among these practices Sanatana Dharma well? Is it the Hindus, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, atheists, and none of them?
Hindus.
Hindus, okay. Anyone else?
It is a tough question, but for now, I would say Hindus.
Okay, why do you say tough? Where is your conflict?
See, this is just a coincidence. I was just thinking earlier, maybe in our previous sessions, everybody were born into Sanatana Dharma. Over the period of time, these things have been changed, right? They have started to put Hindus, Christians, Muslims, and atheists. You know, most probably everyone follows most part of the Sanatana Dharma. So Hindu has been associated more to Sanatana Dharma from long ago, and we call it Hindus after a period of time. That's about it. But I think most of one will follow, but I would say people more aware are Hindus.
Okay, so we looked at some of the basic tenets of Sanatana Dharma earlier on, like Paramatma, Atma, Karma, Punarjanma, and Moksha. Let us say those were the basic tenets. Who among these practices them or understands them is how we can look
Hindus.
at it as well. Yeah.
Yes, that is Hindus. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So that's where we're going to kind of look at the next few questions. So who understands the concept of Paramatma Tattva? What is the Paramatma Tattva? The one which is all encompassing, all pervasive, no beginning, no end. The one which is devoid of one who is a drashta, the sakshi. All these are, the aspects of Paramatma Tattva. So who do you think understands this the best?
Hindus.
There is an understanding of the concept of the Nirguna Brahman, which is the Nirakara Rupa. Who understands it and practices it the best?
I think Buddhists.
Muslims.
Who said?
Muslims.
Muslims. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Muslims are very keen to propagate the idea that do not associate the God with anything else. If you actually kind of give him a form, you are not following it properly, or basically it's a blasphemy, let us say. So they're very keen that it has to be a Nirakara Rupa. Now we understand the concept of it, but we are more interested or more keen on Sakara Rupa, isn't it? Manifest form. So therefore we worship the manifest form a lot. So then that would be the next question. So who understands and practices Sakara Rupa the most, the best?
Christians.
I think Hindus.
Hindus.
No, Christians.
Can be no, how can it be Christians?
Because we don't go and pray at all. We just go and ask what we want.
Okay, now interesting point here. What is it we are going to have anything proposed and accepted based only on strength of the concept? So what is the strength of concept of Sakara Rupa as per Sanatana Dharma, as against what you are mentioning as the Abrahamic religious understanding of manifest form of divine?
No, it's not about understanding, it's about practicing. That's what I'm talking about.
No, no,
You
I'm
have
not.
asked about who is.
Let's first clarify the understanding part.
Okay.
What
Understanding
is
part is Hindus. Yes,
yeah, but
correct.
what is the understanding? Or how does it differ? Let us say, for instance, Christians and
Prana
Muslims.
Pratishtha.
In every
Prana
temple, priests
Pratishtha,
are
right?
Prana
in
Pratishtha.
every
Yeah.
in every temple, priests are uh, praying the Vigraha Murti with the Veda mantras.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For their livelihoods.
but let us say
Yeah.
that could be the ritual aspect, but ultimately we believe, we understand, and we believe conceptually that it's called consecration. The energy, the divine energy is consecrated into that particular vigraha, prana pratishtha. And there is another concept, which is that the divine, all-encompassing Brahman can manifest in anything and everything. And it could be sthavara or even a jangama. So jangama would be mobile, sthavara would be immobile. For instance, the hills, the ocean, the planets, all of them have the Chaitanya in it. So therefore, the substance, the Chaitanya, if it is there everywhere, it is a manifestation. Therefore, we respect the manifestation. In fact, we can make a counter argument that those who actually oppose the sarvabhaumutva of the Paramatma, the all-encompassing and manifesting nature of the divine, are possibly being blasphemous, because they're restricting the sarvabhaumatvam only to the nirakara form and basically denying the ability of the divine, the cosmic, to manifest in each and everything possible. I would consider that to be a blasphemy myself, because they are denying the understanding, the cosmic understanding. So Sakara Rupa has to be understood from the idea that the Chaitanya is going to be there in everything. And on top of it, we can actually consecrate the divine energy into a vigraha so that it becomes the center of worshipping. This concept was misunderstood or not understood properly in the Western kind of concepts, where an idol was nothing more than a statue built in honor of a person. And if that person was being worshipped, they were unhappy that instead of the god, somebody else was being worshipped, and therefore they were destroyed. And same extends to they believing that we are idol worshippers. In actual fact, we are vigraharadakas, where we understand the concept of it, why we do it, because we accept the sarvabhaumatva of the Paramatma. Who understands the concepts of Atma, Punarjanma, and Karma?
Again, Hindus.
Again, Hindus, Jains and Buddhists, definitely with Punarjanma and Karma. Atma, they differ in terms of the understanding of that, but in actual fact, all the dharmic traditions accept this. Who understands and practices brotherhood or samadrishti the best?
I think so. No one.
No one.
This is a tough question. This is the toughest question.
Well, a lot of times we actually quickly come to the answer of Muslims, because we hear them use the word brotherhood often.
Bye.
No, even, the word brotherhood is actually used, but it is within the sect, not outside the sect. So they are good with brotherhood within the sect, but not so outside. Unfortunately, Hindus don't do a good job of brotherhood. They're very poor, frankly speaking. very poor, and we need to really improve here. And one of the efforts that, one of the reasons why we established Hindu Mitra is to enhance the brotherhood. So brotherhood is lacking in all walks of life in the society. Trust deficit, discrimination at all levels, covert and overt. Overt means publicly seen, and that has reduced a lot. But covert means within one's mind, there is still a lot of that. The reasons why this is important to address is a person doesn't then warmly go and hug another person, warmly doesn't go and touch the shoulder, or because we are all conditioned through a particular upbringing, unfortunately. And we have to consciously make efforts, all of us, to break those shackles and express that love, warmth, and compassion, just to show that I am there for you, I am there with you, I understand your pain. This is Sanatana Dharma. People don't understand that. Sanatana Dharma is Samadrishti. I demonstrated that in that session through Bhagavad Gita shloka. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati. If Lord Krishna himself has said that, that is Sanatana Dharma. Whoever sees me in everything, whoever sees everything in me, or everything in me as in me seeing myself as well, I will never let go of that person. Neither will they ever lose me. So we need to improve our samadrishti. Seva, who does it the best? Who does seva the best? Well,
maybe
guardians
maybe
of
Depends.
Christians.
I mean, depends.
who are the,
Maybe a lot.
Who are the guardians of charity? Who has the best public perception award winner?
Christians.
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 Now, this is, I deliberately put this up because it hasn't really hit all the mainstream media. During Corona time, TTD, Tirumala Devasthanam, delivered 25 lakh food packs or spent a lot of money. I personally have seen so many Hindus come out and spread love and also distribute food to various people. I've seen them. I've seen so many Hindus donate lot of money to Prime Minister's fund. I unfortunately have not seen other religions do that. So when it comes to a crisis point, we actually have demonstrated all that. So that should give us the confidence that we are capable of it. We are capable of samadrishti, we are capable of seva. But we are not projecting it properly. So we are failing in public perception battle. By now, you would have understood that to protect and propagate Sanatana Dharma is not just about teaching the values of it. It is a battle of dharma and adharma. How do we understand adharma? How do we understand dharma? In order to protect dharma, how do we counter adharma? So we are entering into sociological, political spheres, knowingly or unknowingly. One who wants to shy away from it is not actually giving value to the Kshatriya Dharma. So ultimately, we look at a complete assessment of how we are doing, our report card in terms of practice of Sanatana Dharma. I think Hindus by and large are doing well enough. We are also miserably failing in one area, which is the brotherhood. There is no excuse there. We are also failing in the idea of Nirakara Rupa. We know it, but we are very poor in applying it. We are good with seva, but we don't know how to handle the idea of it in this modern world. Next, can a Hindu propagate divine knowledge? Because I often see that Hindus say, we are not a religion where we go and talk about our dharma. Why should we? So I want to know if there is any scriptural proof or evidence which supports the idea of propagating Sanatana Dharma. Do you know of any?
No,
I don't know about
no, I don't think so.
scriptural proof, but if you take lots of seers and gurus, right, they have led the way in propagating the Sanatana Dharma. If you take Adi Shankara, how many times did he go around India, Bharat?
Yeah.
For what purpose? It's not only them. If you see Buddhism also, how did it spread? So
no,
we have
Buddhism
lots and
has
lots
sanctioned it. Buddhism
Okay.
has built monasteries. Buddhism trained monks to go and preach. So Buddhism is a different kettle of fish in that sense. But I'm talking about Hindus and Sanatana Dharma because if
If you
technically
take Narada Muni,
you can't say Buddhism is Sanatana Dharma because
yeah,
Buddhism does not accept Paramatma and Atma as such.
okay, but Narada Muni, if you take, like, the sole purpose of Narada Muni is to propagate.
Yeah, right. Good points. Yeah. So we'll see some good news. Do you know who spreads good news? Hey, I have a good news for you. Who comes knocking on your door?
Santa Claus.
Yes. But nowadays you don't see Santa Claus, but you do see somebody across the world. I have good news for you. Can I come in, please? Who does that?
Those who involve in conversion,
Huh?
religious conversion.
Yes. So we have actually good news, better news than that, which is that, yes, we can propagate Sanatana Dharma. So understand, practice, propagate your Sanatana Dharma. Without any doubt in mind, Hindus can propagate it, and we'll see some evidence from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So in Bhagavatam, Narada asks Brahma, and in response, Brahma says, Son Narada, these Bhagavata stories of Narayana are well respected, for they convey Vedic knowledge. With moksha as the goal, the divine itself has composed this Bhagavata. It is a kalpa vriksha for bhaktas and is greatest among all shastras. Okay. Now, I have narrated its details to you. May you extensively propagate this divine knowledge in this universe. So there is a sanction there from Brahma himself. Go and propagate. And that's what Narada has done. Further in Bhagavatam, it says, by sharing the Bhagavata stories, one is granted liberation. So there is something for the teachers. When they propagate, they are granted liberation. So there is a direct benefit. In 18th chapter, Krishna says, Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktesha vidasyati bhaktim mayi param kritva mame vaishyati asamshayaha. Those who teach this most confidential knowledge among my devotees perform the greatest act of love. They will come to me without doubt. Again, another direct benefit scheme for all the propagators of Sanatana Dharma. Yet we don't. Why is the question? As Vamsi was saying, perhaps we can follow the leads of our great seers. Maharshi Narada showed us the way. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma confirmed that it can be taught by his bhaktas, and Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekananda also led us through examples. See, propagating divine knowledge is actually Narayana Seva itself. So if I want to be in that position to propagate it, I am the Dasa of Narayana. Narayana Dasoham, in service of the divine. But if I don't, I'm not doing so because of fear, of laziness, or out of some embarrassing kind of sense, deeply engrossed in tamasika guna. But we pretend to be in a sattvika guna. Just like this lion looks very sattvic as if it is meditating. But it's actually just lazing there. Similarly, we pretend as if we are in sattvika guna, but actually tamasika laziness is the problem. What does it mean if the divine knowledge is not propagated? It means that it has been either rejected as not true. That's fine. People are allowed to do so if they don't agree with it, having done all the research. That it is not understood or accepted wholeheartedly, okay, if that's the case, you need to spend more time in understanding it. But if you understood it, but if you are tamasika guna driven, then you are not going to be excused in terms of your spiritual progression. This is how it needs to be understood. And Krishna says, those who lazily follow their lower nature, though capable of knowing me, are one of those 4 kinds of people who do not surrender unto me. So it's not me saying it, it's Bhagavad Gita saying it. Those who are wasting their time, although they know the truth. So those practicing dharma have to ask themselves these questions, for not propagating the divine knowledge only leads to adharma prevailing all over. All have the freedom and the right to reject if they do not agree with it. But those who bully or threaten are fanatics who do not understand the true essence of divine knowledge. See, according to Bhagavad Gita, we should develop nischayatmaka buddhi, the clarity in thinking, and be decisive when it comes to following dharma. The knowledge we gain is only to be disseminated, and it is no use keeping it to ourselves. There was a time when it had to be kept. Even now, sometimes I wonder, how good do we need to save it from those who have mischievous intentions? So one can understand why in the olden days, people, particularly the Brahmanas, were not very keen for others to share or to share with others, because there was always this possibility that it would be contaminated. Contaminated isn't tampered. Contaminated is not the right word, tampered with. And it could be changed. It could be changed, or it could fall into the hands of those who are adharmics. Now you can understand why that all happened. It's pointless looking back and finding faults with ancestors for everything. I, in fact, include that for Gandhi as well. People a lot of times make a huge ruckus out of Gandhi. They did not do this and did not do that. Those were the times, those testing times. He did what he could do the best. Let us do what we can do the best now. Why talk about somebody who had lived in the past We don't know the circumstances, yet we pass a judgment. So let's not do that. We can make an analysis, we can criticize them, but we should still give them the benefit of doubt that they possibly did the best they could at the time. That's it. They may have been ignorant. I'm not saying that. So just as Narada Maharshi, Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekananda have shown us the way, and as Paramatma taught us in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, are you ready to reach out to all his bhaktas with love and compassion and build a satsanga wherever you are?
Yes.
Thank you, Vijay. What about the others?
Yeah. Yes.
Shrikant
Yes.
says yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
obviously,
No, you said yes. You said yes. That's it. You said yes. Vinila, I think, said yes too.
Yeah.
Where do you live, Vinila?
In Singapore, sir.
Okay, I haven't seen you for many days.
Yeah. I was busy with other things, and it is late night
Yes, I understand.
timings for me. Yeah.
Well, I hope I can, do it at another time next time round.
Yeah, sure. Please.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'll thank you for all showing up today. And I still haven't heard the others say yes. Maybe they're thinking. It's okay. Or should I wait another minute for you to say yes?
Yes, sir.
Vamsi said, Vamsi is always ready. I know that. Anybody else is going to say yes? If you say yes, you are going to commit to this. I'll put you in a nice dilemma. If you say yes, you will work towards propagating Sanatana Dharma, building a satsanga.
Yes, sir.
Raj Shekhar says yes. Anyone else? Sairam says yes. Right. Okay. Anyway, so I will skip some of these slides because I'll go to the conclusion, as in summarizing, because some of these are covered in the Hindu Mitra introduction, which we will hope to do in 2 weeks' time or so. Okay, so this is what we have covered so far. So far in the sense all these days. So what are the takeaways? It is no good knowing the theory that I am divine until we learn to experience it. Aparokshanubhuti. So Sanatana Dharma insists that Jnanam Vijnana Sahitam. You have to apply the knowledge on yourself. You need to experience it. Spirituality improves psychological well-being. Sanatana Dharma and science share an inseparable eternal bond, almost like Ardhanarishwara. We looked at Vidya, Avidya, and Maya, the absolute knowledge, the relative knowledge, and the cosmic delusion. We looked at the whole idea of how marriage is a spiritual union, and therefore the concept of divorce is incompatible with a Sanatana Dharma way of marriage. Purusharthas, we looked at that, and we looked at how we practice dharma, artha, and kama with moksha as the goal. We looked at our role as a grihastha, responsibilities and opportunities of balancing worldly needs with moksha as a goal. We drew inspiration from the story of Kardama and Devahuti. Satpata, the one who follows the path of truth, we looked at that, and therefore building a satsanga. Build one if you don't have one. If you are part of one, stay there and then strengthen it. We looked at the core features of Sanatana Dharma and the pillars of effective practice of Sanatana Dharma. So some key universal spiritual principles like Prema, Daya, Karuna, Samadrashti, Nishchay, Buddhi, concept of truth, Sat, Titiksha, the forbearance, Nirbhaya, Shashvata, Swadharma, Nishkama Karma, Sthita Prajnata, Trikarana Shuddhi. We looked at all those. Swaswarupa Parijnana will be covered in a different module altogether. We looked at Swadharma, therefore, much more closely, that we can apply this in innumerable circumstances where your own duty or natural tendency comes in conflict with a very attractive alternative. Nishkama Karma, performing duties with no attachment to results. Nityam or Shashvatam is the Atma, which is fearless. And Sthita Prajnata keeps emotions in balance. Trikarana Shuddhi, unison of thought, word, and action, and the Nishchay Buddhi. So pillars of Sanatana Dharma, Paramatma, Atma Karma, Punarjanma, Moksha, and Dharma and Yoga to reach it. And core aspects of Sanatana Dharma, okay, I won't repeat it. We looked at the idea of karma, particularly if we are in unfavorable life circumstances, how do we handle it? And if we have a favorable life circumstance and we are privileged, how do we make good use of it? We looked at various forms of yoga, and of them we focused on Bhakti Yoga mostly. And I think I skipped this part. It's okay, but it's Ashtanga Yoga, just to give an idea. So what's the right approach to realize the divine? Keep the body, senses, and mind pure. Only in that state is there a chance to experience the magnificence and beauty of the divine. Avoid ill-intentioned logical debates for the sake of it. Such attitude occurs only due to tamasika guna. I'm not saying it. It is Potana who says in Bhagavatam. Sanatana Dharma and science travel together for eternity. They're both in quest of truth. They both follow systematic approach. They differ in that objective science defines truth as perceived by senses and mind. Sanatana Dharma defines truth as that oneness which is beyond grasp of senses and mind. We looked at how Manushya Dharma or human law compares with Sanatana Dharma or cosmic law. We understood the idea that it is good to be in the company of right-minded people and not necessarily like-minded people. We understood that Sanatana Dharma is not a religion, and religion is something which is almost like a command to be followed, a diktat. We drew inspiration from Deepak Chopra's words. Religion is belief in someone else's experience, whereas spirituality is having your own experience. And when a spiritual text is no more a guide but a command, religion is born. We said spiritual freedom is essential to experience Atma Vidya. The universal truth has always been the same, and it is not easy to be realized. It is its misrepresentation that led to formation of so many religions. Be open to learn by listening, seeing, and feeling all that allows you to progress within. But you should still be guided by your core beliefs. See, perfection is a goal, but don't burden your mind with the process of attaining perfection. What matters is doing your best without really attaching to anything. Being natural brings us close to divinity, while pretense takes us away from divinity. Even if we pretend to be good, it is a pretense. Even if you are naturally jealous, but you accept that this is part of you, perhaps you will not get the best spiritual progress now, but surely your next life will give you all the ingredients to work better with your spiritual progress. So that, I believe, is the power of being true to yourself. See, to judge someone, I should be perfect in the first place, isn't it? But then if I am really perfect, why would I judge someone anyway? I won't. And finally, to know the truth, one should follow their heart. To follow their heart, one should tune in and listen to it. To tune into the heart, one should still their mind. To still the mind, one should declutter their thoughts. To declutter their thoughts, one should apply viveka, the discretion that I should declutter. To declutter their thoughts, one should rein in the mind and senses, using the viveka again. See, my viveka or discretion says not to invest in curiosity on laukika or worldly matters. My discretion says absorb yourself in constant remembrance of the divinity. My discretion actually says love yourself and others just as you would love the divine. We are so good with loving the divine, but we need to understand that I have the divinity within me. I should also love myself and love others also because they have divinity within them. So this is where we end. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Thank you all for being part of this, and we will spare a few minutes and close after that. Yeah, I missed this comment by Surendraji. People of whichever religion given above lead their lives towards moksha may be called as practitioners. Yeah, but see, technically, for other religions, salvation means reaching heaven. Moksha is not about heaven. Moksha is about dissolving into the oneness. So there's a clear, distinct difference. So first is always never ever equate religions. They are very different. People think they are the same because we never paid attention to that. The Abrahamic faiths do not accept the concept of Atma, Karma, Punarjanma. So therefore, they are not equal. They don't accept the idea of manifest form of divinity, not equal. So the huge differences. So please understand that when they are not equal, why the compulsion to call them equal? Okay, anybody, any questions and so on? All right, so we'll bring this to a close. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkhabad bhaved. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. All right, thanks once again. We'll meet up again some other point.
Sir, can we get the recording of yesterday's session?
Yeah, the last three sessions, 8, 9, and 10, I need to sit down to edit them a bit. So that is where I'm not finding time. So I hope I can sit down to do some editing and then, yeah. I'll try. I'll definitely try and send them. Yeah. Thanks.
One more, if you can, like 1 minute.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was really great to be part of this in the past 10 weeks. This is a great start for me from a standpoint of Sanatana Dharma. No doubt I'm trying to be religious, but this has opened up a lot of avenues to go deep. and learn more. I would like to be part of any other programs which you conduct as well. I really wanted to thank from my wife and everybody, my family altogether.
Okay. Thank you, Srikanth, for that.
Really appreciate
it. Okay. All right.
Yep. And do we keep the WhatsApp group running, or how do we do that?
So normally what I do is those who have attended most sessions, I transfer them to a group called Soham Vidya. Things are the only trouble with the Soham Vidya group is it is so quiet. Initial enthusiasm that people show in the 10 days completely dissipates afterwards. So it's almost like I still have to run the show. All these lectures of leadership go out of the window because people go back to the old ways. So there are problems there. I mean, I can include, we can continue the same group as well, but there is another group called Soham Vidya. So yeah, so for now I'm undecided therefore, because Soham Vidya is almost like not much activity happens there.
This group, I think we are getting a lot of information, no doubt.
Yeah. So therefore, I think we can nurture this group for now, and we can have more engagement, and we'll see where we head. Definitely, no, not a problem at all. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we can talk. I would like to share something as I come, as I get something as well here. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll meet again. Thank you once again. Take care. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.